What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MKE MANIACI, and today we got 10 wrestlers who could walk through Triple H's forbidden door from What Culture Wrestling. Now, January 1st, 2023, Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Great Muta is happening. It's happening. And if you're unfamiliar with the term forbidden door, the best way I can describe it, let's say somebody's contractually under the WWE, but they went to wrestle on TNA, or somebody signed with AEW, but they worked the Royal Rumble match. That's the forbidden door. And I feel like for so long, for so many years, it happens very rarely where WWE actually would let somebody from another company into the WWE. Example, Mickie James at the Royal Rumble. But I feel like WWE for so long, in their universe, they were pretty much the only wrestling company. They never acknowledged any other wrestling companies. They never entertained, really having anybody else from any other companies, whether it's TNA, ROH, New Japan Pro Wrestling, coming to their company while being contracted with another company. But now, I feel like we're definitely going to see a lot more of it. So we're going to look at 10 wrestlers who could come to the WWE on the forbidden door policy. Let's get it.
News of Shinsuke Nakamura recently being granted permission to go one-on-one with the Great Muta in one of the latter's final matches at Pro Wrestling Noah's The New Year 2023 event has all but confirmed that Triple H and the new WWE regime's forbidden door is now well and truly open. So with all that in mind, which other wrestling veterans could be offered the opportunity to follow in Nakamura's charismatic footsteps before long? Well, I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are the 10 wrestlers who could walk through Triple H's forbidden door. Number 10, Arn Anderson. The WWE Hall of Famer didn't exactly leave the company on the best of terms back in February 2019, with Anderson being let go due to his part in allowing Alicia Fox to wrestle at a live event whilst intoxicated. And the Enforcer even recently...
Is that what happened? I never knew that was I never knew the details.
He noted how much he did test at his role as a WWE producer in the time before exiting the promotion. On the back of Cody Rhodes' recent return to the wrestling juggernaut in April, and the American Nightmare's longtime manager and coach Anderson's AEW on-screen presence diminishing in the months that followed though, perhaps there's a world where Rhodes can convince his former boss to allow his Four Horsemen ally to break through the forbidden door, and corner him for a spell when he finally returns from his torn titty. Number 9, VXT. Reports of former NXT star and brief main roster performer Chelsea Green being the next to wander back through the WWE door has been doing the rounds for a few weeks now, and while Green's re-emergence on WWE programming feels somewhat inevitable at this stage, her VXT partner and one-time fellow Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champion Deonna Purrazzo's future feels a little less clear, with the former Impact Knockouts Champion still being attached to said promotion until the end of 2022, and Impact being said to believe they hold an option year. The former WWE worker's continued presence on Impact TV feels like the most likely outcome at time of recording.
Now, I feel like this would be amazing. We got the Royal Rumble coming up. The Women's Royal Rumble definitely needs some big star power. Chelsea Green, Deonna, that would actually be really dope. I like what they did with Mickie James. I feel like they can do it again this year.
WWE have already proven that they are willing to do business with their one-time arch rival if the right moment and scenario presents itself. So having the former tag champs join forces to dominate the WWE Women's Tag Team division for a spell may just provide the spark to fire Green up the card upon re-arrival, all while adding a bit of extra star power to a top Impact star too.
And we know the Women's Tag Team division needs something right now. We need something in the WWE's Women's Tag Team division.
Number 8, Mickie James. Mickie James' one-night-only return to the company on the back of a rather messy trash bag boasting departure in April 2021 felt like the sort of moment that held the potential to entirely shift the wrestling landscape. In reality though, James and both her Knockouts title and hardcore country theme showing at this year's Royal Rumble turned out to be little more than a beat of fan service, and something of an olive branch to the former WWE Women's Champion after such a controversial exit a year prior. But that's not to say that James still couldn't strut back into town for one last hurrah and pick up another W during her last rodeo tour that will see the performer hang up her boots for good upon losing her next match.
And Mickie James deserves this. You know, people forget 2005, 2006, Mickie James held it down. She held it down for the WWE. Most entertaining women's storyline of that time, in my personal opinion. Post Trish and Lita, Mickie and Trish, that storyline was incredible.
It'd definitely be fitting to allow the influential figure one last moment in the WWE sun before calling time on her in-ring career. And giving the rub to a rising star en route to just about keeping said rodeo a-rolling is a piece of business both parties would no doubt be keen to make possible before she rides off into the sunset. Number 7, Matt Cardona. Make no mistake, Zack Ryder most definitely isn't wooing his way back into the WWE landscape anytime soon. Matt Cardona stopping by to embrace the sports entertainment sphere for a stint though? Well, that may not be entirely off the table as it goes. With the belt-collecting deathmatch king making it known recently that he'd at least have a conversation should Triple H give him a call, never say never most definitely applies in his own words. And with Tripp's most...
Y'all remember when Zack Ryder was like the most over guy on the roster? I'm saying, like, Zack Ryder, like, you look back to the Major Bros, you look back to, you know, the faction with Edge, you look to the woo version, you look to the Mojo Rawley and the Get Hype stuff. Like, Zack Ryder had a hell of a career, low key. And I feel like he really reinvented himself this past year and some change. I think it could work. Bring Zack Ryder back just for a little bit. I feel like that would be dope.
Call, never say never most definitely applies in his own words. And with Trips most definitely sensing the value in appealing to the internet corner of his WWE universe since getting his hands on the creative wheel, the sort of online buzz generated by a brief bout of Cardona chaos may be too tantalizing a concept to pass up on. Number 6, Jonah. Though New Japan Pro Wrestling haven't been known to get into bed with the biggest wrestling company on the planet all that often in recent times, the way both promotions have handled the curious case of Arn Anderson over the last few weeks, with the good brother still sitting as New Japan Pro Wrestling's never openweight champion, despite very much being recently signed to WWE, it's clear both promotions must have come to an agreement which would likely see Anderson eventually drop the belt back on a New Japan show in the coming months. So with that in mind, there's every reason to believe that a star like former NXT North American champion Bronson Reed, now wrestling under the moniker of Jonah in New Japan Pro Wrestling, could possibly go back and forth between the two companies for a period too.
I would love to see this. I loved Bronson Reed in NXT. I felt like he had so much potential. He could have been the next Samoa Joe, the next monster that WWE really needed. I feel like he had every component. I would love to see
Japan Pro Wrestling could possibly go back and forth between the two companies for a period too. The fact Jonah's current deal with New Japan is non-exclusive also seems to suggest that he could theoretically make an impact on the main roster or NXT, should Triple H follow through on his reported interest in bringing Reed back into the WWE fold. And who wouldn't want to see Bronson bulldoze through the forbidden door for a few meaty monster mashes with the likes of Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar,
exactly.
Number 5, AJ Styles. Well, if Shinsuke Nakamura's recent Kinshasa-ing of the Forbidden Door has shown fans anything, it's that a one-off match within a WWE competitor's ring isn't as impossible as it once would have been under Vince McMahon's roof. So it's not outside of the realms of possibility that the OC's leader might just find a way to convince the cerebral assassin to allow him one last clash of styles within the company that made him one of the hottest properties in wrestling. Why stop at Impact? Maybe Styles could even haggle his way to a full-blown retirement tour at some point down the road.
I was going to say this because AJ Styles, man, come on now. One of the greatest of all time. Like, you look at AJ Styles from TNA to New Japan to the WWE, AJ Styles always have killed it. He's always killed it. And I think he really deserves, if he did a farewell tour, go to Impact, go, to Japan, just go all over, just have these incredible matches before he hangs it up. AJ only has a few years left of his career. And yeah, I feel like he deserves it. He's not really doing anything major on WWE television right now. So this would be a good thing for AJ to do in the meantime.
Stopping by everywhere from New Japan Pro Wrestling to Tony Khan's Ring of Honor as he bids farewell to his phenomenal run as an all-timer of an in-ring worker. Stranger things have happened this year. Number 4, Syuri. Topping the recent PWI Women's 150, beating out everyone from Bianca Belair to Becky Lynch in the process. And it's not all that difficult to see why, to be honest. Over the last year, Syuri has reigned as the World of Stardom champion since December, with said run seeing her put on masterclasses opposite the likes of Utami Hayashishita and Momo Watanabe. And with the star also sitting as a former UFC fighter, there's every reason to believe that Triple H and the new WWE regime would see...
I never heard of her, so I don't know about her, but okay, she looked like a beast.
Former UFC fighter, there's every reason to believe that Triple H and the new WWE regime would see some serious value in bringing the top-ranked PWI Women's 150 performer in for a few special appearances if possible. News of Stardom reportedly also being interested in working with WWE if the opportunity arises. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, also makes an interpromotional showdown perhaps between the PWI's recent number 1 and number 2, Syuri and Belair, feel closer than ever. Make it happen, Trips. Number 3, the Great Muta. AEW have already proven that a fleeting showing from the legendary performer possesses enough excitement to thoroughly pop a Western crowd. And having Nak potentially join forces with his one-time rival, or even work a tag bout opposite him on WWE programming in the lead up to said Noah show, could help stir up further interest in the incoming Budokan Hall battle. Despite making his presence known in the likes of WCW and, as noted more recently in AEW, Keiji Muto has still yet to step between WWE's ropes at any point in his storied near 4-decade career. So having him stop by to collect his flowers en route to said Nakamura collision on January 1st, and perhaps even picking up a much-deserved spot in the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023 in the process, feels like too glorious an opportunity to be missed. Number 2, Billy Gunn. Daddy Ass may have missed out on the recent D-Generation X reunion, but it does feel like only a matter of time before Billy Gunn once again reunites with his fellow degenerates. In fact, had WWE not dragged their heels at the very last minute in the lead up to that aforementioned October 10th one-off showing, there's a solid chance the Acclaim's right-hand ass would have been smashed through the forbidden door before Nakamura. Yet the new regime's reluctance to shine a light on the fact Billy was currently employed by AEW, Tony Khan's only real request for the lending of Gunn over to his biggest rival, was enough to ice a full DX reunion for the time being. As already noted during this list though, WWE haven't been completely against acknowledging their competitors under the right circumstances. And should the game be able to find a way to swallow his pride long enough to allow his commentators to utter those dreaded 3 letters a few times in the future, there's every chance Gunn could once again make a cameo on WWE programming whilst under AEW contract.
I mean, is it really that hard just to say AEW? Sami Zayn said it. Why? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I feel Triple H isn't as petty as, you know, as Vince was. So, yeah, I can see it happening. I mean, you know, like I said, this happened. So...
Number 1, Minoru Suzuki. Showing up in everywhere from New Japan Pro Wrestling to AEW to Ring of Honor to Impact Bloody Wrestling, the hard-hitting icon has been seen slugging it out with everyone from Bryan Danielson to Samoa Joe during his latest violent run at the age of 54. And in all honesty, it doesn't seem as though the former Ring of Honor TV and never openweight champion is showing any signs of slowing down either, with the star recently being spotted grappling with the likes of WWE's Matt Riddle, Io Sky, Shayna Baszler, and many more during a few training sessions at Daniel Gracie's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Orange County Gym. With that in mind, could these bouts of grappling on the mat pave the way for Suzuki to eventually make his way to the WWE canvas? Perhaps in a one-off battle against his fellow martial artist Riddle? You wouldn't put it past him finally chopping the soul out of a few WWE superstars in the not-too-distant future. And if this particular forbidden door opening provided fans with little more than the sight of Suzuki and Gunter gradually blistering each other into oblivion,
you know how beastie of a match this would be? Gunter versus... Yo! This would be crazy.
Then Trips would likely wrap up the Booker of the Year award there and then. Yeah. Get it done, Papa H. Get it done. And that's our list. Know of any other wrestlers who could walk through Triple H's...
Alright, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. You know, personally, I would love to see a lot of guys from AEW work with the WWE, MJF. You know what I mean? I would love to see Mox back on WWE programming for a little bit. I mean, we are approaching the 10 years of the Shield. You know, it's so many options. And, you know, I kind of hate how divided sometimes that the world of professional wrestling is. Because at the end of the day, man, you know, as wrestling fans, I just appreciate anything wrestling. You know, I'm still, you know, up in my knowledge on other companies because I've been all about WWE and TNA for so long. I'm starting to get into AEW. I'm starting to get familiar with the stars overseas. So it's like wrestling as a whole, like this would benefit the entire wrestling community so much. The dream matches that can come out of this, incredible. Incredible, man. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on this. 10 wrestlers who could walk through Triple H's forbidden door. Link down below in the description for y'all to check this video out in its entirety with no interruptions. Y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me. Hit that subscribe button for me. Thank you for watching MKE Maniaci. I'm out.